الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين شفيع ذنوبنا وطبيب نفوسنا وحبيب قلوبنا أبي القاسم محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين وأصحابه المنتجبين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. أما بعد، السلام عليكم جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Following on from yesterday, we stated that the principles of supplication are three: that we become totally transparent to God. We recognize God and we recognize the purpose of our existence. And that is when we begin to make a proper prayer. Now it is here that we need to explain things a bit further, and obviously we all know this intuitively. It is there deep within us. We know it. It is just that sometimes the things that are known so obviously are not recognized so easily. It does not mean that those things are difficult to comprehend. All it means is that we have entertained other things in our minds that have blurred the simplicity of simple things. Now, I ask a simple question. Imagine me and you in this world. This world is a world of millions of years of age. Me and you are here for 60, 70, 80, 90, 120, 140. It's a flash in the pan, yes. Now me and you are gone. There will be other people who will be congregated here. Of course, for a day, 2 week, 40 days, a year, they remember us. After that, our names will not be there anymore. Trust me. If the King of Kings, their names have not survived, yes. If out of 124,000 prophets, we don't know more than 16 or 17, by priority we will be forgotten. Now I ask you, in this age of 80 years of life, what are me and you taking with us? Tell me. All the things that we ask for from Allah are so arbitrary. Think about it. It's actually futile to even ask Him for these things, because even without asking Him, He's going to give them in any case. Yes? We ask for what? We ask for a home, for children, for health. At the end of the day, He's going to take us away and everything is going to remain. The home is going to be there, but without us. The children are going to be there, but without a father. The wealth is going to exist, but I won't be there to enjoy it. Whatever I've asked Him for was meaningless. It is here that I'm asking myself, what am I supposed to do in this opportunity of life? These 70, 80 years of age. I am told that prayer by the Prophet is the essence of devotion, and worship and devotion is the purpose of my existence and creation according to God. And I ask myself this question, that I am praying to God for what? What is it all about? And then I ask Allah, really, do you need my sajda? Even if the great Jibreel were to abstain from Allah's sajda, it would not diminish God an iota in His kingdom. Even if the 7 billion foreheads were to fall into sajda, it would not increase Him an ounce in His kingdom. Can you see this? How beautiful Imam Hussein says. He says, "O Lord, how strange are your ways. You bestow without me asking. After giving me, you ask back. With a heavy heart, I give a little in your way. With a smile, you accept. You multiply the 70 times over and give it back to me." Think about things. We have a few years' life in this world. What is it all about? Now, when me and you are laid to rest, tell me, what comes with us? Anything coming with us? Tell me. Is anything coming with us? By Allah, even the hair that was on our heads, we've lost it before we die. I think you should smile at that comment there. I have to inform you that here I'm making a light-hearted sort of a comment, so please do smile and acknowledge. Salawat, please. Talk about commanding respect and demanding respect is what I'm saying. Amazing, isn't it? Canada needs more of me, seriously. The sarcasm is to go into our minds here. It's more sophisticated than simple Alhamdulillah Mu'min thinking that we have here. It needs a bit of demon in there. Even before we die, our bodies are declining. The bodies are ready to go now, die. And we put in so much medication in our systems to keep the dead bodies alive. How wonderfully does Imam Hussein say in his poetry that when we are young, the body carries the soul, and as we age, the soul drags the body. We need, instead of 2 legs, we need 4 sticks to carry us. Then we have wheelchair, die for the sake of Allah, go. You're supposed to go. You weren't meant to live forever. Why do you not want to die? Because we don't have anything to look forward to. Don't you see that? We have not understood the purpose of existence. What are we praying for? Who are we praying to? I'm not saying die, yes, may Allah give everybody a long life. I'm telling myself, I'm saying to myself, that why are you hesitant? Your calling is a different calling altogether. You were not created for this world. This world is a place of death. Death regenerates new life. When old people like me go, fresher minds take birth. Old people like me stagnate the process, the intellectual progression of the people. Don't you see this? Younger people are needed with fresh minds, with fresh ideas to carry the world forward. That is the natural progression of this world. If we truly were concerned about the human community, we would not be so hell-bent on living forever. So we ask ourselves, what is it all about? Seriously, this opportunity, this grand opportunity that Allah has given to me and you, is it all about praying to Allah and asking Him for wealth and children and health? And you do know very well He's going to take it all away, don't you? He will take it all away. He will give wealth only to take it away. He will give health only to take it away. He will give children before our death. He might not kill them, but He might remove them so much as if we never had those children at all. He's going to do all of these things. His ways are strange. Very strange is our God. Imagine, the astrologers told the Pharaoh that a child is going to take birth, who will topple you. What did he do? He plunged daggers in every stomach, bearing a child, only to raise the one that he was after in his own household. Isn't that amazing? He goes after killing every baby, at the same time raising the one that's going to kill him. Strange are the ways of God. Seriously, think about these things. Now, if we understand things very accurately, we will see that we only have one thing to do, and that is what existence does, to come to the fullness of our own existence. The fullness of our own existence means not to grow limbs and beards. The fullness of our existence means, as we explained yesterday, to come to a level where we become godly and godlike. That is the only purpose for which we are here. This individual has done all the growing that he had to do within the womb of his mother. He has done all the growing that he had to do within the cradle. Now is an invitation for the real growth. And that real growth is to grow from this level of restriction, intellectual blockade, spiritual suffocation, to a level of liberation, to become God-like, to stand at that glorious pedestal where Allah says, "Irja'i ila rabbiki radiyatan mardiyah." Return to your Lord, for that is the only return you have. Return to your Lord in a state in which He is pleased with you and you are pleased with Him. And the only state with which the Lord is pleased with me is the state in which I begin to mirror Him. Think about these things carefully as we go into it little by little. When a man falls in love with another, what do? They begin to give their discretion to the other. Do you not see this? Let us give an example. When children idolize a pop star or a movie star or whatever, or a Maulana or a Mujtahid, what do? They begin to mimic them, don't they? They begin to resemble them, their mannerism, their way of talking, their accent. There's a psychological study, and I think I've narrated this to you, some time back that when two people who are in love with each other grow up together, they begin to look like each other. When you look at one, you remember the other one. Do you know why? Because when they smile like each other, they begin to form creases on their faces, wrinkles on their faces. And that then gives them similarity in looks, even though they are strangers. You see one person who says, you remind me of the other one. Why? Because they both act, mimic each other. A lover is the one who's supposed to give himself away to the beloved. Ace, we salute him. He truly loved his Layla. That is how a lover ought to be. How can a devotee of God not become God-like? But what happens in this journey of life is, it's a strange journey. We become something that is not us. And that is why worship and prayer is so important. You see, the cradle fashions me and you. The DNA gives us a false figure. Religion gives us a false personality. Culture instills within us all sorts of biases. This is not me. This is not you. You have never been this. I've never been this. This might have been strange, these words 50 years ago, but now they ought not to be strange. In a future world, when men are able to become women and women are able to become man, we will see that gender is transient. Being a male or being a female doesn't mean anything anymore. Do you know this? In a future world that's going to come. When the pigment of the skin from black can be turned to white and white to black, you and me will understand that color doesn't mean anything. When we can determine our own features and grow different limbs and organs, when the arm is cut and we can grow another one genetically, we will begin to realize that this color, this gender, this feature wasn't me at all. I was something else altogether. And this is becoming a physical reality from a possibility. If me and you can change our religion, then that means that religion never determined me and what I was. As we grow older, and as we change our location, and as our culture changes, we begin to realize I was never beholden to a culture. As our sense of beauty changes, we know there is no such thing as beauty that grasps and that fixes us in our understanding of beauty. As our biases go, we begin to see that no, the truth of me is something else altogether. I am just caught up in a prison. This body is a prison. This attitude is a prison. These cultures are prisons and these religions are prisons. They have nothing to do with God. They have nothing to do with me. I narrated this some time back. As Rumi said, O you who admires the luminous sun deep within the sky, acquire your own luminosity. The brightness that comes from you will be so splendid that the sun will become hidden in front of your rays. This is how brilliant you are, O son of Adam, O Khalifa of Allah. So when you say you're devoting yourself to Allah and you want to give yourself to God, then know that it is a journey that you are undertaking. When you say labbaik to Allah, I am here, know what you are saying. You are making a statement that I have awoken, O God. I need to come to you from the journey of restrictedness, from a state of restrictedness to your state of godliness. Look at this Hussein ibn Ali salamullah alayhi on the day of Ashura. He has a black man with him and a white man. He has a slave with him and a free man. He has a Shia friend with him and he has a Muslim who is not a Shia. He has a Muslim with him and he has a person who is not even acquainted with Islam at all. All of them he embraces equally in his love, doesn't he? He has a sinner with him and he is a saint. He realizes the truth beyond truth. In fact, I often give this example that Imam Hussein was deliberately placed there at the helm of Islam because Allah in His divine wisdom knew that the mosques will lose their function altogether. The mosques will only attract the pious. Hussein's pulpit will attract humans. He is a true depiction of godliness. So when we take this journey, we are saying to Allah, O Lord, I am devoted to you. I am giving over my thought to you, my sentiments and my feelings over to you. You shape them. You mold me. You break me, O divine architect, and make me afresh once again. Let me acquire that state of fluidity. Let there be nothing that stifles my personality. Let there be no like or dislike. Let there be no biases within me. Let me be the way you want me to be. Let us acquire that sincerity in prayer. You've heard this before. That Jibreel descends upon the face of the earth. He goes to Ibrahim at his ripe old age. Ibrahim has become a Nabi and a Rasul, but Allah wishes to take a friend, which is a rank beyond any that Ibrahim has acquired so far. Jibreel comes to Ibrahim, he says, Ibrahim, Allah wishes to take a friend upon the face of this earth. What does Ibrahim say? Gabriel, lead me to the friend of God that I may serve him. Jibreel says, it is for this reason that he takes you as a friend. For you do not have this want in you beyond the want of God. So when I say to myself, oh Lord, I submit myself to you, it doesn't mean I become angelic, because there are years of cancerous attitudes within me, years of tumors within me. It means that now I'm going to, with God, actively address them. You know, the day of Arafah, the Imam Sadiq Salamullah alayhi says that the biggest sin, he says that the biggest sin on the day of Arafah is for anybody to think that Allah has not forgiven him. Allah has promised you. If He has promised you, He will fulfill His promise. He's not like me and you. He keeps His word. They said the worst of God's creatures. He said the worst of God's creatures. If Allah has promised you something, He will do it. So He will forgive you all your sins. Do you know what else He taught? He said, but the cancer that oozes sin will still be there. He will clean the slate for you. It's clean. Address the cancer that oozes further tumor. So it does not mean that when I give myself away to God, that I become an angel overnight. Maybe the likes of me do become angels overnight, but the rest of humanity doesn't. So they have to address this problem with God and through God. Now look at it this way. Look at the du'as of our imams. Look at the beautiful du'as that me and you read. What are they? Du'a Kumail, yes? Du'a Sabah. Du'a Arafah. Look at the du'a of Tawbah, Makarimul Akhlaq. In which one of these du'as, Abu Hamza Thamali, do we see the imams going to Allah and saying, oh Allah, I'm sick, cure me? In which one of Hussein's du'as, Salamullah alayhi, on the day of Ashura, My Akbar, oh Lord, keep him alive? In which one of the du'as of Ali ibn Abi Talib, oh Allah, give me the khilafah? Which one? Tell me. Do you find any of these things? What were their du'as? Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Look at his dua. I'm going to come to these duas as well in a minute if we have time. Otherwise, you may invite me again and we'll have a series of 10 talks, yes? Yeah. You only want good things here, so give sadaqah daily so bad things don't come to you. My teacher used to tell me this. Whenever he used to come Ayatul Amin, he would say, see, you forgot to pay sadaqah today, that's why I'm here at your house. If you look at the duas of our imams, in these du'as, what they do is they acknowledge their sins in front of God. Do you know why? Because those sins are the impediment that are blocking them from becoming God-like. Those sins are the obstacles within their souls. The Prophet's prayer, the prominent prayer was, oh Allah, keep me alive for as long as my life is pleasing to you. Cause me to die as soon as my death is pleasing to you. This is the prayer of the Prophet. Now look at the prayers of the Imams, yes? In every one of their prayer, they come clean. Very, very transparent. Very transparent. Not hiding away from God. Acknowledging God and very genuinely articulating their innermost sentiments with God. You will be baffled when you read these du'as. Yes, it's amazing. They transform us. I always say this. I say, look, I don't need miracles. I don't need signs. I don't need anything. I need to see the person for what it is. And when I see Ali ibn Abi Talib and the children of Ali ibn Abi Talib, it convinces me that they are of the prophetic substance and they are of the greatest standing in the ranks of sainthood. Yes, the children of Imam Ali are of the prophetic substance. Why? Because when you look at the spirituality, their God centricity, the level of morality, you think that I don't even find prophets equaling this rank. Of course, Prophet Muhammad is the greatest, yes? But I'm just saying this. It baffles the minds. Look at Abu Hamza Thamali. The Imam says, "Oh Allah, I seek forgiveness from you for the sins that I have committed." He says this. Then he pauses. He says, "But Allah, you know and I, that after repenting, I will sin again. Oh Allah, allow not this to be a hypocritical repentance. Allow it to be a genuine repentance of mine. But oh Allah, I have sinned, and I've sinned frequently. As I do tawbah, I shall sin again. But oh Lord, I have not sinned because you have not been worthy of obedience. I have sinned only because I'm a weak soul. Oh Allah, I never for a moment lost my love and respect for you. That is something that I can vouch for and you can see. But I'm a weak soul." Look at how genuine the Imam is. "I have sinned due to my weakness." But he said, "Oh Allah, but you have also spoilt me. Every time I have sinned, you have forgiven me. And you have encouraged me to sin again." Who can be this brutally honest with God? Then he says to Allah, and look at the brutal honesty. He says, "Oh Allah, on many occasions, I have intended to appear before you in devotion, only for sleep to overpower me, only for fatigue to draw me away from you, only for forgetfulness to distract me from you. Oh Allah, are you displeased with me? Oh Lord, is it that you no longer want me to appear in front of you? Do you not find my voice acceptable to you? Oh Lord, have I sinned to that extent that you have lost any love for me?" Look at how honest he is in making this dua. So if we look at the duas of the Imams, we find a very different story. We find that they are addressing their own lack. And then they are looking at God and understanding God so fully. And then they are making their way towards Allah. And the wasila that the Imams give by and large, the send salawat on the Prophet and the Prophets of the past, and the malaika, and the send salawat on the al of the Prophet. But the wasila that the Imams make, and read this, is what? Their state of faqr. They say, "I make my state of dire need to you, my wasila to you. For I have nothing else. I come to you with empty hands." This is how they prayed. But then you have the Quran talking of other prayers as well. Look at Ibrahim praying to God. Ibrahim and Ismail, "Rabbana ja'alna muslimin lak." Make us two Muslims of yours, totally surrendered to you. Make us complete in our surrender to you, Allah. This is the dua of Ibrahim in the Quran. At another place, Ibrahim makes a dua. "Arini kayfa tuhyi al-mawta." Oh Allah, show me how you resurrect the dead. "Awalam tu'min." Will you not believe? He said, "But hey, yes, I believe. But I need that satisfaction." What are these duas? These duas are for Allah to touch them, for them to be touched deeply by God, to have that presence of God, to have that unshakable faith in God, that certitude that cannot be moved. That is what they were asking for. What beautiful duas are these? And then the duas that they make, which are worldly, they never make those du'as purely for the world. What does Zakaria say? فَهَبْ لِي مِن لَدُنْكَ وَلِيًّا يَرِثُنِي وَيَرِثُ مِنْ آلِ يَعْقُوبَ وَاجْعَلْهُ رَبِّي رَضِيًّا. Oh Lord, I am alone. My hair has gone white. My wife has become barren. But oh Lord, I have never been disappointed with you responding to me. He is old. He can't have children. Oh Lord, but I'm not disappointed. Do you know, it's amazing. When you reach that level, you know. You can say, Allah, give me the kingdom of Sulaiman, and you have full confidence that He'll give it to you. It's a foolish prayer, but if it is done accurately, Allah will give it. But what will we do with the kingdom of Sulaiman anyway? It's just a headache. Don't ask for it, yes? Seriously, don't ask for it. Let Allah do His work properly. In any case, he asked for a son, but why? In order for Allah to be pleased with the son, and in order for the Ali Yaqub to continue the prophethood and continue to guide. Maryam, Rabbi, inni nadartu ma fi batni muharrara. Oh Lord, I pledge to you that what is in my womb will be given to your devotion. Even their worldly prayers are not horizontal but are vertical. For you, O Lord, I ask this. So if they ask for health, why? In order to serve you to a greater extent. When they ask for wealth, why? In order to bring other creatures towards you, O my Lord. When they ask for children, why? O Lord, so that we can glorify your name day and night. When Musa asks for Harun to be his aide, what does Musa say in the Quran? كَيْ نُسَبِّحَكَ كَثِيرًا. So that, oh Lord, we can both praise you a great deal more. Look at their prayers. Their prayers are all about what I call God's centricity. They're all directed to God. And that is the purpose of existence. That is the purpose of prayer. I devote myself to you, O God, to become like you. To come to a place where you are pleased with me. When a person is engaged sincerely in prayer, what is this growth? This growth is the broadness of attitude. The expansion of the heart. And he who Allah wants to guide, he expands his chest towards Islam. Islam means submission and embracing the truth. And the one who does not believe in Allah, his chest is constricted as if he is ascending a lofty mountain. I know you've heard this before, but let's bring this to mind again. As Ibrahim was being educated by Allah, he brought 2 guests, remember, to his house. He offered them food. They took food in the name of God other than Allah. Ibrahim chased them away. They were at the age of 70, we are told. Allah reprimands Ibrahim. He said, I have fed them for 70 years, not caring of who they call on. And you couldn't withstand them for 1 meal? Bring them back and feed them. To become broader from within. The real growth, my dear brothers, and the real thing to ask for is liberation from this prison in which we are. God is not the way me and you think of Him. Look at Allah in the Quran. What does He say? God can forgive anyone He likes. Does He or does He not? When we read the Quran, please nod if you read this in the Quran. Does He or does He not say that nobody asks God of what He will do and He will forgive whoever He wants? Does He or does He not say that? Have you all read it? In Surah Nisa or Ma'idah, in 2 places does He not say, same verse being repeated, that apart from shirk, He can forgive whatever He wants for whoever He wants. Read the Quran. Does the Quran not say, when the prophets are asked, مَا بَالُ الَّذِينَ خَلَوْا, what will become of those who have passed before us, who weren't on the guidance that we are? What did the Prophet say? They said, Allah knows best. Did they have the audacity to say they're in hell? Did they? If the prophets did not have the audacity to say they're in hell, are the Muslims beyond the Prophet? to put each other in hell? The thing to pray for is the liberation from this state. The liberation from these attitudes of black and white and Khoja and Punjabi and Shia and Sunni. Seriously, look at the sickness in this community. Not this community, the Muslim community. Allah says, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ فَرَّقُوا دِينَهُمْ وَكَانُوا شِيَعًا لَسْتَ مِنْهُمْ فِي شَيْءٍ. Does he not say this in the Quran? Where has the Quran gone? Did the Prophet not say, عَلَيْكُمْ بِكِتَابِ اللَّهِ? Hold on to the book of God. Didn't Ali ibn Abi Talib say that he who reads the book of God will be guided aright? Where is the book of God gone? The Prophet is told in Surah An'am, and those people who split their religion into little segments and became parties, you are nothing to do with them. You are nothing to do with them, absolutely. It's nothing to do with you, O Muhammad. Doesn't Allah say that He can send rocks from the heavens to destroy you, or open the earth from beneath your feet to swallow you, or He can divide you in little groups and cause some of you to taste the wrath of others? Does He not say this in the Quran? وَيُذِيقُ بَعْضَكُمْ بَأْسَ بَعْضٍ. Syria, look at how it is destroyed today. It is destroyed. Have you not seen those orphans, those widows? In the name of God, it has been destroyed. Can you see this? If an earthquake were to have happened in Syria, it would have killed 50,000, 100,000, 200,000, finished, done. There is no end to the slaughter, to the butchery. What we can do and the way we destroy each other has no end, trust me. So the greatest prayer is for Allah to liberate us from this. In the name of God, we do the work of devil. Do you know this? How amazing is this? You know, I can't understand this state. Muslims should be praying, oh Allah, give me the heart that I can pray with other Muslims. Muslims should not be saying that, oh Allah, throw them in hell, and I can't pray behind them or I can't pray with them. Seriously, is this where we are? We need to pray for Allah to liberate us of this disease. It's a despicable disease. Now, obviously my time is finishing. When we always get to the nice chunky bits, the time always runs out, and that's the mercy of God, I suppose. But tell me, when me and you die, you do know that we will stand in front of Allah, don't you? You do know that Muhammad Rasulullah will be there, don't you? You do know Muhammad Rasulullah will ask me and you. He will say, what did you do? He will say, Arif, you actually told people that people who pray like this, they're going to hell and you can't pray with them? Really? Where is it in my Quran? You actually taught that to the people? Really? And what will I respond to Muhammad Rasulullah? You actually taught this to the people, that value one religion over another religion, feed the people of one religion, let the others starve to death? You saw orphans, you saw widows, you saw destruction, and your mouth was sealed, and you were more concerned with the position of the arms inside the prayer. What about the sincere prayer of becoming God-like? Why didn't you learn from me, the Prophet will ask me. I came to barbarians and converted them into the finest humans, and you flung Muslims in hell. So the thing to pray for, and of course I need to talk about one or two more things here. The thing to pray for is for Allah to liberate us, and the other thing to pray for is for Allah to bring this community of Muslims together beautifully. Once we are together, then we can then pray for what Allah is saying in the Quran. Say to the people of the book, come together with us. Muhammad Rasulullah taught us unity with the Christians and the Jews, and the Muslims are disunited with each other. تعالوا إلى كلمة سواء بيننا وبينكم أن لا نعبد إلا الله. Doesn't the Quran say this? Say to the people of the book, come together on that which is common between us and you, that we will not worship other than Allah. This is how broad Muhammad Rasulullah was. These were his prayers. We need to pray that this community comes together first, for us to be removed of our biases, and then we can forge that greater unity. When we read the Quran, wherever the Kaaba is mentioned, go and read it and notice. it always says the place of congregation for mankind. أول بيت وضع للناس الذي ببكة مثابة للناس وأمنا. Yes? These are the verses. It's nothing to do with Muslim. It's for mankind as a whole. That is a place for a greater unity of humankind altogether. So the prayer is for us to be liberated from this despicable state, to come to a level of godliness and do the work of the Prophet as he did. However, in our humanness, we also pray, yes, for the world, and it is right to pray for the world, for that is a means to constantly remember God. Now the Imams have taught one simple thing for prayers to be answered, and that is that the heart should move in the prayer. If the heart softens up and we utter something or pray something, this beautiful world responds and she makes it all possible. The mother of Mary had no children till a ripe old age, and her sister, who was the wife of Nabi Zakaria, had no children. The mother of Mary sat beneath a tree. She saw an egg hatch. The mother came, bird, and she began to feed her new hatched baby. Her heart was moved to an extent. Her eyes flooded with tears. And she said, "O Lord, O the one who makes every impossible possible, give me a child." And Allah gave her a child. Sarah made a prayer. The angel said, "Allah will bestow you with a child." She said, "How? وَهَذَا بَعْلِ شَيْخًا." Not only that my womb has become defective, but this my husband Ibrahim has become an old man. He can't father a child. Are you astonished at the decree of God, O Ahlul Bayt? Allah does as He wills. Zakaria prays, "Amma yakunu," and then when the Malaika comes and says, "Allah will give you a child," but how can I have a child? Zakaria, but didn't you ask Allah for a child? How are you being so baffled? Well, make me for me a sign. So the Imams have taught us, the heart needs to soften up. And we need to have full confidence in Allah. At that point, ask for anything, and Allah will give it. Ask for the impossible, and He will give it. And there is no such thing as a fixed decree. You know, we say it's a decree of God. No such thing. The one who makes decree changes decree. Yes, you know that. Allah says, يَمْحُ اللَّهُ مَا يَشَاءُ وَيُثْبِتُ وَعِنْدَهُ أُمُّ الْكِتَابِ. Allah wipes clean whatever He wants, and He makes firm. He has the mother of all books. He has the final discretion. Trust in God fully. If you want something, the reins of destiny are in your hands. Pull it and do it. It's yours. But do it for the sake of Allah righteously. Yes? So these are the condition of prayers that we are taught. Imam Musa, Salamullah alayhi, his prayers as we end this little talk, he says to Allah, "O the one I rely upon in my times of difficulties, O my cave to which I retreat, O my rope that I hold on to when I need support, O my companion in my loneliness, O my guide in my state of bewilderment." This is how he prays to God. They say, go in there to a young woman, beguile him, distract him, make him commit a sin, and let us expose him. She goes there, narrates, there was a cloth casted upon the floor of the dungeon. I did not see him anywhere. I heard the voices of plea raising from some corner and cries, and I realized it wasn't a cloth, it was the Imam. I drew near to him and I heard his prayer that, "O Lord, for many years I asked you to make time for me without any distraction, in which I can devote myself to you. O Lord, you granted me my prayer. O Lord, how may I thank you for this? Indeed, my sin is great. Indeed, your forgiveness is greater. Such are the prayers of these noble saints of Allah. But we come to a scene where a man is bidding farewell to the one he loves the most. He says to Ali Akbar, go and give your life. Ali Akbar hears something behind him. He turns and he looks, and he sees his father walking behind him, falling and standing. He said, "O father, have you not bid me farewell? I have a child." "Then what is this that I see, O father?" He said, "Ali, if you had a son like Ali, you would not be asking such a question." Ali Akbar goes into the battlefield. Hussein is restless. He calls the mother of Ali Akbar, "Come with me. Look towards the heavens. As I teach you, pray. O the Lord of Yusuf and Yaqub, as you returned Yusuf to his Yaqub, cause Ali Akbar to return to his father Hussein." She made this prayer and Ali Akbar returned. He said, "O father, the thirst has killed me. The weight of the armor has weighed me down." He said, "O child, relieve yourself of it all and go ahead and give your life in the way of God." Akbar falls. This is the state of Hussein. He comes to the body of Akbar, raises dust and places it upon his head and says, "O child, this place is a darkened place without you. How may an old father see this scene?" Akbar breaks into a smile. What brings a smile upon your lips, O child? This is your grandfather. This is my grandfather, quenching my thirst from the goblets of Kawthar and saying, "O Hussein, hasten to me, for I have no patience left to wait for you." بلى لعنة الله على القوم الظالمين وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون. إلهي إنا نسألك بحق الحسين وجده وأبيه وأمه وأخيه وتسعة المعصومين من ذريته وبنيه، اللهم اغفر لنا ذنوبنا وكفر عنا سيئاتنا وتوفنا مع الأبرار، اللهم عجل فرج إمامنا المنتظر واجعلنا من أنصاره وأعوانه والمستشهدين بين يديه. رحم الله من قرأ الفاتحة.